You can have success with any type of begonia. Welcome to our home and garden channel. My name is Marlene. Let's take a look. So whether in flower beds, containers, by themselves, or with other flowers, begonias make an excellent addition to any garden. And there are many different varieties, but today I'm going to narrow it down to 3 of them for you to make it easier, and it's going to be based on their root types. And as we go along, you'll get to see which one is which and which one might be the best fit for your garden. We'll take a look at an insect that may bother them too, and any diseases, and a way to prevent that from happening. So the first category we're going to look at, and we're looking at 3 categories. The first one is the fibrous begonias. It just means that their roots are little fibers, like, they're narrow and small. And the wax begonias are the main ones in this category. They're the most popular ones. Most people know them. Under the fibrous root types, we also have angelwood begonias, not as popular, but very, very beautiful. And then over here we have dragon wing begonias, another fairly popular one as well too. And this is a hybrid of the angel wing and the wax begonia. And as we go along in the video, you'll see exactly how these, correlate with each other. Category number 2 would be the tuberous begonias, and it just means that their roots come from something that looks kind of like a potato, and that's how they start off, and they're very beautiful. And these regular begonias, these are hybrids of those tuberous ones. You can see the similarities as you look in closer. Third category would be the rhizomous begonias, which means that the roots grow from rhizomes, which kind of looks like a ginger root or maybe iris or something like that. And they're mainly grown for their leaves than the flowers, though they do flower as well. So let's go for a deeper dive now into the wax begonias, which is the main fibrous type. Typically, as you get into the mid-spring or even early spring, sometimes you start seeing lots of begonias in your flower center, your garden center. Normally they come in flats. You may see them in hanging baskets, and there are 3 different colors, either red, pink, or white. You can put them in hanging baskets, or you can put them, in flower beds or just regular pots. They are best for part shade, and typically you see the tags there. Part shade means 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. Though they have been grown in flower beds like these red ones right here, but you'll notice that they have those large elephant ears above them, so it does offer some type of protection from the sun. Also, if they're in a flower bed, they tend to get more, insulation from the other plants around them, as well as the soil in general. But if they're in a pot by themselves, the afternoon sun really can burn them as you get further into the summer heat. So that is just something to bear in mind. When you're planting them out in flower beds, you'll want to put them a distance, maybe about 14, I'd say to 16 inches apart, because they're going to fill out. They have a mounding habit, so they're going to fill out, and it's going to cover the space. It's going to be beautiful. And just to show you over here, this is one of my favorite container gardens that I did. I paired them here with some other plants, and it's good to, make sure that they have similar lighting needs. So in this video that I did a couple years ago, I went step by step and showed you how to do it. And this is going to be in the begonia playlist at the end as well. So, but just let me show you, step by step here what I did, but actually a more condensed version of it. And also you can see what the roots kind of look like, why they're called fibers. You'll see that they're just little fine little roots, just like any regular typical plant that you'll see that just comes out, and then you plant them that way. So I'm just going in here and just, digging the hole down in there to make sure that it goes down deep enough. And then we go ahead and we take the soil and cover over the one that was in the nursery pot. So you always want to try to do that, guys, because that soil is not really made to hold your plant for too long. It's very porous, and so you want to cover it so the plant doesn't dry out, after little time has passed. And just press it in a little bit, and you should be pretty much good to go with that. So it looks pretty good. And you can pick off the lower leaves if they're touching the soil as well too. And over here, I put some creeping Jenny in here. And creeping Jenny is a good spiller plant. You put it towards the end and it just spills over. At the back, I had already put in the bulbs for the the corm for the caladiums. I had already put them in, so they're at the back. They're going to be the thriller. It's going to come up and look really nice. and then you have the other ones coming in. And I also put in mulch on mine, usually about an inch to an inch and a half of thickness, just to make sure that it keeps any weeds out that might come in. And even if you're doing a flower bed, it's a similar steps here as well. And it also, keeps them a little cooler in the summer, as well as it retains moisture so they don't dry out as quickly. So it's really good to put mulch on your plants, when you're putting them, especially, going from spring into summer. They really need that help at that time. And just after a couple of weeks, this is what it looks like. Absolutely gorgeous. You have your thriller, the caladiums, you have your filler, which is the begonias, and you have the creeping Jenny, which is a spiller coming over to the side. This, like I said, this is one of my favorite container gardens that I have done. So you can just follow those steps, and this can be your own. All these plants typically are available at your garden center. You can start the caladiums. It doesn't have to be from the root part, so we can just get the actual plant. As far as watering needs go, I'm watering these here on the leaves and the flowers because it is in the morning. It's gonna, evaporate off during the middle of the day. Typically, I water my plants in the evening though. And if you are doing it in the evening, you want to water just the soil and not the leaves and the flower themselves, because sometimes when you do that and when the weather gets warm, you can get fungal diseases that spread easily. Like the spores will land on there and overnight it spreads. So it's a good idea to just water the soil if you're doing it in the evening. As far as feeding them goes, typically I don't feed them right after planting them like I did here. What I'll do, and just showing you what it looks like, is that every maybe 2 to 3 weeks or so, mix some of the plant wood, and the directions are under typically 2 tablespoons to 2 gallons of water. You just water them and they will reward you. This is the most recent one that I did here, where I got that those flats right there. I think there are 6 of them in there. Yes, I did put 3 in each of them, and that was for my spring porch makeover video. That pot is to right by the column there under the word refresh, and that's what I put there. And I just wanted to show you the progress in just a matter, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and this is what they're looking like. The one on the right was overwintered, like I did for this one a couple years ago as well too, so you can overwinter them as well inside your house. And this is what the other one is looking like over here. So they have quite a ways to go. Now, you don't have to deadhead this plant, but you can if you want to, because it's a prolific bloomer. It's constantly blooming, so they'll be okay if they're on there, but you can take them off, once it starts to happen. If you're in a flower bed like this, of course, it's going to be too big a task, and they'll kind of like, just cover each other anyway, so you'll be okay. Typically, I don't get pest and diseases on this plant, but this time, this little insect on here, I think it's what do you call it, a ketolate or something like that. I'll put the name up there for you guys. But he was on there, and I thought, it almost reminds me of a grasshopper. I don't think he could do too much harm. There's only one that's on there, so it shouldn't be a problem. And so I kind of like ignored it. I didn't even pick it off. I just left it there. About a week after, guys, I took a look at my plant, and this is what it looked like. You can see the plant is springing up back again, but you can see where all the damage took place. So I guess it went in and sucked the juices from the plant, or maybe put some disease on there of some type, and they just fell off just like that. I was so disappointed. So, to prevent these, diseases from spreading on your plant, it's good to have early intervention or even prevention. So if you see something like that or any other insect that you're not wanting to keep in your garden, you can use like insecticidal soap. You can either make your own, or you can use one like this. And I will link a few products in the description box, to help you if you wanted to choose something like that, to get them online. You can get them there. And usually when I treat my plants, for pests and diseases, I try to do it like either in the morning or preferably, in the evening, so they're not under the stress of the heat of the day. So these dragon wing tips here, talking about heat of the day, these are the ones that tolerate the most heat. So if you do have an area that has a lot of sun, then you can put these there, and they're perfect for hanging baskets because of how, they call them pendulum flowers. They kind of like, hang over. They have a little long neck, kind of, sort of, and they just hang over. And that's the feature that came from the angel wing begonias, because they're known for that. They're called cane begonias. So you have like groups under groups, but I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible and just narrowing it down like that for you. Another hybrid type would be these. They call these big begonias, and you can see they're very, very similar to the dragon wing. You can see it even looks like the dragon wing from our storybooks, but that's how they are. Those are the hybrids. I just wanted to pause for a moment to invite you to subscribe to our channel if you've never done so before. My husband and I, we do lots of gardening topics. We go over garden DIYs. We show you what's at the garden centers. we show you any mistakes that we or others have learned from so that you won't make the same mistakes and it will be an easier process for you. And we're here to help each other, of course. And we do put out videos weekly, so if you haven't heard from us for a while, get a notification, just take a look at our channel to see what we're up to, and tapping the bell twice, that helps you to get notified more easily. So here would be the angel wing ones, guys, and these are more for indoors, and you can grow them outdoors too, but they need, part shade, and they're a little delicate, so you have to be kind of careful with these when you have them. You can see the spots on there is very distinguishing, so that helps you to know that that's the type that it is. Moving on to the next one now, the deeper dive into the tuberous begonias, and these are they right here. And typically, like I said, they have those roots that are kind of like a potato, and the flowers are more fluffy. They have a lot more rows of petals on them. The female ones, they say, tend to have a little bit less. They have maybe like 1 or 2 rows, while the male flowers tend to have more, like multiple ones. And they say sometimes you have two female to 1 male flower. That's a little bit, deep, but just to let you know that that's something that's out there. But they prefer part sun. These are for sale, so they're had them out on display, but they prefer part sun. And they're great for hanging baskets. Now, if you want to start them off early, you can always get the bare roots in the late winter or early spring, and you would just plant them before your first, or I should say, after your last frost date. And that's kind of what they look like. And the instructions are on there too. And I did that garden supply video for you earlier. So this is what they look like here. And they're just so beautiful in those baskets, because they just kind of like have that, hanging over nature, where they just hang right over, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So I really, really like them. And let's take a look now at a hybrid type of one of these, or a hybrid type of one of these. And these are called ragor begonias. And if you look at them, you can see they look kind of similar. Those polka dot ones that you're seeing, that's a different plant right there. But the yellow and the orange would be the ragor ones, and the flowers are similar, but they're not as fluffy, and the leaves are a little bit different. But you can see that they're kind of cousins, so that should kind of help you, I hope, to figure out that this is a tuberous begonia. Now for a deeper dive into the rhizomus, or the rhizome begonias, and that would be the rex begonias. Those are the main ones in that group of plants. And the leaves are just absolutely gorgeous. They're so pretty. They do bloom, they produce flowers. And I figure them looking so pretty, they don't even need to do that, because the leaves are just so gorgeous. This was from a sweet lady. Her name is Miss Ivy. When we visited Jamaica, we went to her home and she gave us a little tour. But they love shade, they love humidity. So if you're going to keep them, you have to kind of like keep them indoors or in a very, shaded area. And a little mist of water, not directly on the leaves, but just like in the air around them, will help them. Or if you have a humidifier, that can help them too. But they're so, so beautiful. I love them. And these ones right here, these ones are my mother-in-law one. She also lives in Jamaica. So when we went to visit, we saw them. See how beautiful these are. To me, it looks like crushed velvet. It's just so, so beautiful. And she's had this for many, many years. So in tropical areas, they're perennials. You can keep them for many, many years. And the one on the left has a more of a velvety look. It's so, so pretty. And it feels just like that. So I didn't want to touch that one though, because it's just coming up. So I just left it alone. And I was fortunate enough on a previous trip to see them blooming. So they do bloom, and just look at that, guys. I tell you, we have a great creator. So guys, trying to keep it, simple for you. Bear in mind that, you will see many different types of hybrids out there, but typically the flowers and the leaves kind of give you an idea of what the main parent plant would have been. And you would treat the plant based on what you think the parent plant is going to be. Sometimes they'll have labels on them that give you a lot of information. So it's going to help you as far as caring for them goes. And that way you can have more success with them. Be sure for any one of them, they don't like wet feet. So it's good to have the soil dry out a little bit, in between waterings, especially for your the wax begonias. And well, all of them, because those thick roots, they can tend to rot sometimes. So you don't want that to happen. So I wanted to take a moment to say thanks so much to my channel members. It really means a lot. We see you, we appreciate you, and those of you who share our gardening videos. If you have questions about this, you can go back and take a look at the video again, before you choose your begonias. What I will say though is, before you choose your begonia, choose your location, because it's very important. They do not like to be in the sun the whole day unless they're in a flower bed with some kind of shade over them. So figure where you're going to put it first, then get your plant, and your plant will be very happy. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for stopping by today. I do hope to see you in the next one. If you haven't subscribed before, be sure to do so. We look forward to seeing you along on our other videos. Happy gardening and take care.